Yes, I was saying that there's a symbiotic relationship between organizations and information technology. Yes, so we want to find out how organizations can shape information technology and also how technology can shape organizations. And we want to look at quite a number of factors, and we'll consider these factors as the mediating factors, so that if we are to convince ourselves that organizations can shape information technology, then the mediational role of those factors will be very critical. Alternatively, if information technology should shape organizations, those same mediational rules would be very, very critical. And this brings into focus two theoretical perspectives. Some believe that technology determines whatever happens in our individual lives, in organizations, and our society. Others also believe that it is the society that guides the kind of technology we build, we adopt, and we use. I want to find out, within your individual organizations, have you experienced a scenario where maybe a new IT system is going to be developed, and then they bring an expert from, say, Accra or somewhere to come and interact with people within the organization and ask them what kind of technology they would need to solve their organizational problems? Anybody who has experienced that? Yes. Have you also experienced another scenario where you didn't know anything? All of a sudden, they sprung some technology on you and they say, now this is what we are using. Yes. So looking at one perspective, the organization determined the kind of technology they needed. The organization determined it. In that way, we say that the organization shaped the technology. And this is guided by the theoretical perspective we refer to as social shaping of technology. In some instances, they may bring in the technology, it doesn't fit, but because of feedback, complaints, suggestions, they will change the technology, they will customize it to suit the organizational environment. That is still social shaping of technology. Now, the extreme is what we refer to as technology determinism. So you are just there, they bring the technology and they say you must use it. And oftentimes it happens in the public sector because they have taken their cuts, they bring it down, you must use it. Usually what happens, there is usually huge resistance to technology determinism because people may not like it, they have not tried it, they have not contributed in terms of the requirements in building that particular kind of technology. We'll look at the perspectives a bit later, but I want us to look at the mediating factors. How can environment influence the path from organization shaping information technology? So in this case, I want us to explain how an organizational environment can influence the kind of technology they adopt and use. I need practical examples. How can the organizational environment, so the environment may be characterized, the organizational environment may be characterized by fear. Assuming it's characterized by fear, the manager says, we are going to use this technology. Nobody can say anything. If the organization is that of usually command and control, like the military, you don't question. Even if it's wrong, the answer is supposed to be what? Yes, sir. The environment will, whatever they say, okay. Now, what about culture? Yeah, the issue of command control will also come under culture. But the examples we gave about culture, yes. How can that influence information technology? Okay. 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 They are using bulletproof. Yes, yes. So where would you classify that? What actually influenced that? The environment. The environment was, okay, a dangerous one. Now whilst we are looking at it this way, let's just look at the points in a similar vein. How would environment influence technology? Look, this mediating factor, how can it mediate the relationship between information technology and the organization? So in this case, technology is being brought into the organization, but we're saying that the environment may affect it, either positively. So in terms of the mediation, it could be positive, it could also be what? Negative. If you don't consult anybody and you bring it into the organization, if that environment is that of, is very toxic, there may be protests and they will resist the technology completely. What about culture? Yes. How can culture lead to, or how can culture mediate either positively or negatively the relationship between IT and organization? Okay. 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 So, okay. Okay. Passport office. Okay. What about, just a minute, what about passport office? Explain to us. Okay. Okay. So they automated. So are you suggesting that when we are being technologically deterministic, that means when we are forcing technology on either the society or the organization, it can lead to job losses, right? It can lead to job losses. And sometimes government being, we gave an example that sometimes it is the government that is more technologically deterministic. Whatever people are saying, they will go ahead to implement it. And that is why sometimes it leads to unrest in organizations. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, digital. No. Okay. 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 It can result to. Okay. 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 Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what influenced the gift miss? I think we are missing a point here. What influenced it? Was it the society that influenced it? Or maybe, let's look at it this way. There are some technology introductions by the public sector, which we as citizens, when we sit back, we feel, but what problem is this thing coming to solve? But they are bringing it anyway, we can't say anything. But if there were problems in the public sector, like maybe the processing of the accounting, financial stuff at the district assembly level or public sector level, a lot of corruptions, inefficiencies, and the government feels that in order to address this societal problem, let's bring gift miss. So they went around district assemblies and they said, well, this is our processes. If the gift miss is going to look like this, it will solve our problem. In that case, we can say that the society influenced the technology. Now, I want us to look at it from that angle. The gift miss, did it come as a result of this or government forced it on us? And I'll give you an example of a government technology introduction that was barely forced on us without street naming. The street naming. If all of us were consulted, we would have suggested some street names that we are already using. But they brought it anyway, deterministic. But what happens? We are not using it. Okay. Let's move on. Structure. Now look at the nature of organizations we have. We can have a one-man business, a partnership, a limited liability company.
Prof, I want to contribute on the culture.
Yes, okay, go ahead. So those online, if you want to contribute, you can possibly just type your questions and we'll read it out. Or you unmute yourself and speak. Go on.
I'm saying with culture, let's take our naming ceremony, for instance.
Okay. You say with culture, let's take our naming ceremonies as an instance.
We used to distribute cola nuts, This day with technology, you can just share the flyers across and it
Okay.
goes to wherever you want it to reach.
Okay.
Maybe so it's affecting positively there. But
Okay.
let's take our circumcision into perspective.
Okay.
So now we have a technology at a hospital. When a male child is born, it's just a ring. They just insect it and it is done. In that case, the circumcision they would have done in the olden days, they have taken the job away from the people. So it has played an impact on society, on the organization.
The first one, he's saying, if you look at the way naming ceremonies were done traditionally, you would distribute cola. These days, we are resorting to, he's even talking about flyers. Yeah, instead of, so we are moving completely from, but I'm just looking at the mediation there. How has culture influenced that? How has our culture influenced the fact that instead of using cola nuts or toffees, you use a flyer? How has our culture affected that?
Prof, in this way, is not the technology that has influenced culture.
Okay. You see, I think we are missing something here. We are looking at two things. Information technology, organization at two extreme ends. And we're saying that both influence each other depending on culture, structure, and all these mediating factors. So if you are giving an example, tell us how this mediating factor affects the influence of IT on organizations or the influence of organizations on what? On IT. That is how I want us to go. So if you look at, for instance, structure, assuming there is a partnership, two-person partnership, if they are going to adopt technology, it's just a discussion between the two of them. If it is a limited liability company, it has to go to the board, go through several layers of approval before it can be what? It can be accepted. Similarly, if you look at business processes, the business processes in one organization completely different from the business processes of another. So if an organization is going to adopt information technology, depending on the nature of their business processes, it will influence the kind of technology they adopt. The kind of technology a telco would adopt is completely different from the kind of technology an educational institution will adopt. So because of the business processes, the organization will influence the kind of technology. Alternatively, if the business processes are not considered and the technology is introduced in the organization, what will be the effect? It may not work, not so, because it may not fit the business processes. So we are saying that for it to work in the organization, certain things would have to what? Happen. And that is where we came in with the idea of maybe adding complementary assets, customizing the technology and whatnot. In every organization, apart from organizational culture, there's also what we call politics, organizational politics. Apart from the culture, you may, in an organization, see that everybody belongs to some kind of a subgroup or camp. How can that influence technology, the politics? How can politics within an organization or within a society influence the interaction between organizations and information technology? Let's look at it from the national point of view and then trickle down. NDC comes, all kinds of stuff will spring up when they go, whether it is good or bad, because they started it. Political tag, the new political party would say, no, we are discontinuing. So it has a critical effect. Let's look at it at the organizational level. How can politics influence the symbiotic relationship? Politics in an organization. The IT system in the organization, it doesn't work. But because of organizational politics, the one in charge of the ICT system cannot be touched. So what happens? Inefficient organizational processes and whatnot. If the person can be removed, yes. Yes. So he wants to give a practical example, but he's putting it in the form of a question. He's saying that he has realized that our university has a critical IT problem. especially when you are uploading. Okay, so what may have been the problem? I don't have the answers, but looking at this relationship, we can possibly diagnose what the problem is. So let's see. So management decisions, we'll diagnose the problem soon, but let's also look at management decisions. These guys are at the top echelon of the organization. So they make a lot of decisions in terms of what technology should be adopted, which one should be discontinued, and whatnot. So it plays a critical role. In the case of our system, I know some of our staff are here, but I just want to find out, when the UCM was going to be introduced, were you consulted? If you are working in the UDS, you don't need to say it. I was, yeah. Were you consulted? Yeah. So, okay, so let's get this one over with. If you were not consulted and the system was just brought for us to adopt and use, that would be what? Technology determinism, what we are going to be looking at later. There may be resistance to change. Several trainings have been conducted, but because people were not consulted and the technology was introduced, people still believe that the technology is not good. Even in instances that it is doing well, they say, the technology is not good. What possibly could also be the problem? The problem could be that the peculiar issues that are dealt with at department or unit levels were not considered in developing that system. So I come to work, I cannot upload the results. Or I come, someone defers and comes back, the person cannot be put back on the system. So you can't do anything about it because we are not consulted. So what could happen? What could possibly happen to solve this? The organizational context can shape the technology. So we can give feedback back to the directory that is in charge of it, and they will change the system or develop it better to solve the problem. But is that happening? That one too, I will not be able to say. Yes. Okay. As a mediating factor. Okay. National level politics. Yes. Yeah, they discarded technology. Yes.
I don't see the information there.
Okay. Okay. The technology bit there. Okay. So yes. Okay. The okay. 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 Or address peculiar issues in the but someone influenced it because of either the political clout, the 10% they were going to get, they brought it in. So the technology will not work. It's also possible that someone can use political influence. So we should not always look at it in the context that it may not work. Someone can use that political cloud, bring in technology and force it on people and it will work. Because if the people are not ready and you incentivize them, you take them on trainings and many other things, they are likely to adopt it and use it. Yes. Just a minute. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So those who are politically favored, they get promoted. Okay. Okay. So he's saying that, assuming you have an organizational situation where some people are politically favored, so when it comes to promotion, seamlessly, they go through. Now you bring in an appraisal system, an online appraisal system, which no one can influence. Where do we classify that? That's your question. So what is influencing it? Where will you classify it? Is it the environment, management decision? What would be the influencer? It could be management decision. It could also be the environment. It could also be the environment. When you have an environment where people are so laid back, nobody says anything. They know people are unduly promoted, and they just say nobody cares. But if the environment is that of an active one, people complain. It's also likely to change. Yes. Mm. Okay. Okay. So if we are looking at it in organizational context, we are looking at it in terms of management, those at the top level managers who are driving the strategic direction of the organization. If there's an external influence that is exerted on management to bring in a technology, then it becomes what? A political one. Are you getting it? It becomes a political, yes. Possibly. Possibly. Yes. The environment, very toxic one. The culture, very corrupt. Structure. Yes. They are parts. It's possible. so so think of it this way. Think of it this way. Maybe when you get to the second year and you want to do your dissertation, you could possibly just look at the effect of information technology, the mediating factors, exploring the mediating factors of the influence of IT on organizational performance. The case of, and you use TTH as a case study. And then you ask questions, your survey questions, you ask questions on some of these factors to find out. And then we'll be sure whether all these, for now, it's just a matter of guessing. After that, they say we'll be sure whether all these factors actually influence. Yes. Okay. Validated before you get paid. Okay. 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 On his phone. Okay. Okay. Mm. Okay. It's done. Okay. Uh-huh. I think it's a management, it's not GES that introduced the whole process. In that case, that would be GES. But in all of this, I like the fact that your narration took a while, and I was waiting for something. I wasn't getting it until you got to the point where you indicated that they would do that using their mobile phones. Because in all the discussions, we should not lose sight of the fact that we are looking at organizations on one side, and then what? Information technology. So the technology component is very critical. So with this example, that would be a management, GES management issue. Now, I want us to delve deeper into the concept of technological determinism. And basically what it means is that anything at all we are doing in the organization, organizational change is driven by information technology. Not us, but information technology. And there are several instances that this may have happened for some of us to witness in our organization. When we are talking about technological determinism, the focus is always on the fact that technology is the driving what? Is the driving force. And that anytime there are changes in technology, in terms of advancement, new technology coming up, it means the things we do in the organization will also what? It will also change because we are largely influenced by the external IT environment. So organizations will always adapt as long as there are what? Changes in technology. If you look at the evolvement of the internet cafes, if you look several years back, when we used to have telecommunication centers, it used to be telecommunication centers. Then they evolved into internet what? Internet cafes. Some of them have evolved to something else today. What have they evolved into? Yeah, they are doing stationery. And what else? Yeah, printing press. Yes, even for some of them, if you buy a university form and you cannot apply, and when you go there, they will give you that kind of service. They will apply for you. So throughout that trajectory of changes, they are driven by what? The technology. When the technology changes, businesses that are not able to adapt, they do what? They die off because they are over-reliant on technology. So organizations that are over-reliant on technology, based on this particular theoretical perspective, if they don't adapt quickly, they will fall off. They will just die. So in terms of competition, if you are in an organization that is largely dependent on technology, then it means the level of change in the organization can be drastic because technological development these days are very drastic. Now, I want to ask a question. Can you think of an example? Just a minute. Can you think of an example where IT seems to have determined organizational change? We'll come back to that. Yes. Level. Okay. 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 That has improved revenue generation. Yes. I'm happy you are bringing this example, but what has it done to the adoption of that technology, mobile technology? Yeah, I know people who earn quite well, but they don't want to use mobile money again. So the adoption, maybe the telcos may have the evidence. The adoption of mobile money services has also what? Has also suffered. So if there was to be maybe an alternative to that, to using the mobile money service, that business of mobile money services would die off. In some advanced countries, there may be other platforms that we use to send money without being charged. If there's an alternative, like assuming an alternative like that in Ghana, and the government imposes mobile money e-levy, you can imagine people would quickly do what? They will switch to that new kind of technology. Let's look at it from an organizational context. Can you think of an example where IT seems to have determined organizational change? Yes. Okay. Okay. How has IT changed that particular sector? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, I get you. So how has it changed? Which ministry is that? How has it changed the passport office setup? How has it, that organization? How has it? Okay, exactly. So queues have exactly, yes. So the change is queues. Excellent. Delivery, yes, yes. The banks, yes. ATMs that accept, yes. Excellent, yes. That's replaced human beings with. They have replaced the face to face with, yes. Okay.
Oh, fundamentally, passport office has reduced. I mean, with the introduction of IT, it has really reduced Goro.
It has reduced
of Goro activities.
Okay, Goro boy. Yes, yes.
Yes.
So bureaucracy, though this was some form of informal bureaucracy, it has actually reduced that. Let's look at this practical example. The introduction of WhatsApp and email, it has changed the way businesses are communicating. Forcing organizations to adapt their communication structures. If you applied to do a master's 5-10 years ago, you will probably not hear anything. One day you go to open your letterbox and you will see an admission letter. How are we leveraging on email and WhatsApp to change our communication as a school? So you apply, we pick your number. We will not even send you an email. Apart from the email confirmation you would get, we'll just pick your number and add you to WhatsApp. There are instances that we have added people onto the WhatsApp group and they have asked, what is this for? Yes. And then we say to keep up to date with your application. They say, hey, wow. So it means that even at that point, you are sure that you are going to get what? Admission. Yeah. Email. Email has revolutionized the way we communicate. Even to the extent that, look, in organizational context, if you want to, assuming you want to apply for leave, and you send in your request to the HR manager, and the HR manager is also on 2 days leave. Traditionally, if you send the memo, it gets there, it's going to be stuck until he or she gets back. But with the adoption of email, if the HR manager is going to be away for 2 days, he or she can easily set up an auto reply. Yes, I'm not going to be available for 2 days. So if your issue is urgent, contact A, B, or do A, B, C. And then you get it. It has revolutionized the way we communicate. Even to the extent that in some organizations, they have what we call email groups, right? Yeah, groups. So that if there's a message, they will just send one email to that group email and everybody gets it. It has even become more practical for us to use with the advent of what? The WhatsApp messenger. Instant messaging has been what? Revolutionized. Some time ago, if you added people to WhatsApp groups, you will not be able to tell if they have read the messages or not. Today, you can tell. So some years ago, I think it was the Indian government or so, they put their top level ministers on a WhatsApp platform. So nobody can show any dereliction of duty. If they send a message, everybody will respond because they know they can track you have read it. They know you have read it. So you look at the technology and think, okay, this is just a little bit of technology. But at that high level, it can be leveraged on to do quite a lot of things. So let's look at some of the technological deterministic aspects of, say, WhatsApp. And I want us to start with shaping cultural practices. So we're looking at organization and information technology, right? So now we're looking at shaping cultural practice either within the organization or society. Are you getting it? How has WhatsApp changed this? Or how has shaping cultural practices shaped WhatsApp? So whichever way, let's look at it. Cultural practices, okay? Health insurance. Who are, okay. Renewing their Policies, yes. Okay. To expire. You are sent a notice. Yes. Reminding you. Okay. So I'm still, did you hear what he said? I'm missing something there. I'm missing something there. In terms of the renewal process, how has WhatsApp or technology shaped cultural practices? So that maybe the culture was that you will go to the office, right? No, he's using instant SMS messages, right? The use of USSD code to renew. Yes, so let's look at WhatsApp. Oh, no, then say your point, even if it's not related to this.
The issue of health insurance.
Okay.
At first, organizations used to chase health insurance for their vetting reports.
Okay.
But I think now, because of technology, most organizations have a corporate email.
Okay.
So their vetting reports is being sent
directly through there. Okay.
Instead of we rushing
Okay.
for our vetting reports.
Okay. So the question I asked earlier, what is the technology bit here? Email. Excellent. I mean, I'm interested in that. And what has it shaped? What aspect of the organization has it shaped? So it has refined the process. If the process used to have a lot of physical steps, now it has removed the redundant steps that were in that and shortened the process. Yes, I'm interested in an example of how WhatsApp, particularly WhatsApp, this thing, has shaped our cultural practices. So this one is technology, what? Determinism. So we are not thinking about how these factors will shape the technology. Now we are specific. Technology shaping it. How has WhatsApp changed our cultural practices? Yes. One-on-one. Okay. Yeah, so WhatsApp groups. Yeah, just posted there. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you get a letter. Letter box, yeah.
Now, when you apply, you are being added to a group where an information will reach you very easy.
Yeah.
So it has now taken the information.
Excellent. Somebody here mentioned something about naming ceremony. Yes. It was online. Yeah, that example. Yeah. Perfect example. It fits here.
Yeah, hello.
Yes. So the cultural
Hello?
practice indicated. Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we are listening.
Hello.
Yes, we are listening.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, Prof, please. Kindly position your mic very well. We hardly hear you. Those on us on the streaming participation.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now, Prof.
Excellent. Okay.
Yes, it's okay, Prof. We can hear you.
Okay. So we are saying that if you look at the traditional naming ceremony, it starts, by word of mouth. You inform people when it's closer to the date, you send cola. And later on, it moved on to, there was innovation. They will send toffee. But now, the example the gentleman gave earlier, you just do a poster, and then put it on maybe family WhatsApp group, friends WhatsApp group, and then also on your your status. And then people, so it has changed. So these days, nobody would even go about saying that, oh, I have outdooring. Because the assumption is that the contacts you have, because before you can have someone's number, you must have that kind of rapport. So when you put it on your status, you assume that they will all see it. So on WhatsApp as well, yes. Yes, it has also changed, yes. Look, let me give an example. I was caught off guard a long time ago, speaking with a paramount chief on phone. And out of the blue, I just squatted, but I was holding the phone. And I know some of you would have come across people like that. You are driving, you receive a call, and you can't move again. You have to park because you feel that you cannot be talking to this person whilst moving. Not because of the danger. But these days, look at it. WhatsApp has raised those barriers. A student, long time ago, when WhatsApp just came in, a student once sent me a message with that slang, sub. And I said, what is that? Yeah, we are not colleagues, so you can't use that slang with me. And that's what WhatsApp has done, changing culture. And then, so later when I also got into the group, that was a long time ago, and I realized that, okay, this is fine. But at least the kind of slang you would meet me and use. Okay, let's look at other examples of technology determinism, changing communication patterns. How has WhatsApp changed our communication patterns? Putting messages in groups. Yes, we have a group. There are WhatsApp groups in the university where the vice chancellor himself is on that group. So you can send a message. Maybe you want him to know something, but you can't go to his office and do that. So what do? You check the group and put it there. And then you go and be checking who has read it. Then the moment he reads it, say, yes, he has read it. Yeah, so it changes at the organizational level. The same thing. It has broken barriers between the top hierarchy and what? Low-level workers. Video calls as well. Yes, video calls as well. Conference calls. Now, WhatsApp we can actually have this class on WhatsApp. Yeah, so your WhatsApp group, I can just call everybody on that group. If you are not available, anytime you are available, you join. Yes, it has revolutionized what? Communication patterns. Then redefining social relationships. Yes, redefining social relations. I indicated that when you come to class, where you sit next time, don't sit there. But on your WhatsApp platform, we're using WhatsApp, right? On the WhatsApp platform, you can just wait. Even by mere sight of someone's profile picture can trigger a communication between you and that person. The way the person comments on stuff on the platform, what he shares, you can strike off some kind of relationship from there. So there are several avenues. Then influencing business and commerce. All of you are on one WhatsApp platform. The first one we added you onto is almost about 150 now. So assuming you are on that WhatsApp platform and you deal in maybe some kind of unique product that all these people may need. Someone posted it there, right? Okay, so okay, they are even buying it here. So you can just put it there, and then it can influence your business, and it can serve as an advertising platform, impacting political and social movements. Look, in as much as we have brought all of you on that WhatsApp platform to ensure seamless dissemination of information and the running of this program, we are also aware of something. If we do something wrong, and you guys, you descend on us, there will be a problem. So because of that, we are careful, because we know the political impact. Just recently, when the grassroots guys they started their campaign, what did they do? They created another platform and brought all graduate students there. For what? Political purpose. Okay? Then educational and professional adaptation. Look at the way we are using WhatsApp for educational purposes. Yes. We don't send slides on any other platform other than what? Through WhatsApp. The video recorded links, we share it on what? On WhatsApp. and how it is helping us. I remember somebody last week sent me a message saying that he cannot find the lectures on YouTube. The last lecture that was uploaded was 4 months ago. So when I saw it, I laughed. I said, you want us to put our lectures there so that anybody at all can go and find it. So if you are not on that WhatsApp platform, you will not, if you go on there, you will see it, unless you go through the link what we share. And we are using WhatsApp platform for what? We are just adapting it for this particular purpose. Last but not the least, privacy and security concerns. Privacy and security concerns. How does it ensure privacy and security concern? Privacy and security. WhatsApp. If you mistakenly share something out of the ordinary, these days, WhatsApp, you can delete it. Yes. Some time ago, you will not be able to do that. So even when someone puts a message on a WhatsApp group, you want to reply to the person, you can reply privately. Now you can even edit. Yeah, instead of deleting and sending it back, you can just go and edit it. Yes. Okay. Mail. Okay. Oh, corporate mail. Okay. 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 Hmm. To copy. Yes. Yes. Yeah. To do that, yes. I think when it comes to privacy and security, there are social media platforms that are doing wonderfully well than WhatsApp. But WhatsApp too has got some privacy, especially Snap and Telegram. Yeah. Yeah, you cannot screenshot it unless you do what you use another phone to screenshot. Let's look at another perspective, the second perspective. Social shaping of technology. Social shaping of technology. With this one, we are saying that social organizational factors shape the development and use of technology. So we just don't go and pick it and come and use. Before it comes in, whatever happens in the organization, organizational factors and other things within the organization will determine whether we should go for that technology or not. The key issues with this particular theory is that technology is shaped by these three things: social, cultural, and organizational factors. And then also organizations influence how IT is developed and what? And implemented. And the last one, the impact of IT on organization is mediated by what? Social processes. Now, an example. Can someone give us an example of social shaping of technology in an organization? How, maybe you can start it with this way, how a particular technology wasn't working and everybody protested against that technology and said that we need a technology that does what? A, B, C, D. So give us that technology. And then the organization went ahead, procured that technology and brought it in. In that case, it was what? Social shaping. But if we didn't know where this was coming from, you just bring it on us and say we should use it. We're having all manner of problems. That will be technology deterministic. So maybe in a telco, there could be something like this. Maybe MTN, they have a unique workflow that they are using. People call, they sell credit, they sell broadband service, and many other things. But they realize that their adoption of a customer relationship management system, it doesn't address all what they do. So they decide that let's have a meeting with the IT experts and tell them that, look, technology you have brought is good, but it doesn't do A, B, C in our context. So can you change it so that it will do what we want? If they do that, it means that they are also doing what? Social shaping the technology to fit the organizational context. Now let's compare the two of them. Social shaping. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. excellent example. Excellent example. When they started, the initial one I registered for, I went long queues. They gave us these slips. And then, yes, then when they came by, it was a completely revolutionized process because people complain. Even in shops, this thing happened a lot. When the technology is not working, people will come, customers will come and complain. Can you change it? Can you change it? But when they change it, then it means they are not doing what? Resorting to what? Social shaping. They are socially shaping the technology. Let's compare the two of them and see how either can guide us in adoption of technology. So we are saying that with the technological determinism, the focus is on acquiring the latest technology. And if your organization is going to keep acquiring the latest technology, it means that it also would have to continuously innovate so that they can use the technology. Emphasis on training. And for you to continuously innovate, your staff must be what? Up to date. So you have to invest in what? Complementary assets. Train them. So emphasis on what? Training staff to use what? The new system. Remember that this one, you didn't consult them. So when you bring it in, you have to now go and train them. Otherwise, they will not be able to what? They will not be able to use it. If you had consulted them, they know what it can do. So it will be easier for them to work with it. Restructuring the organization to fit the technology. Because of the technology, some roles in the organization may be what? Changed. They will say this position no longer exists. Because even in the IT system, you will not have any role. Anybody who can give us an example like that? Eh? Yes, yes. The new kind of technology we're having, assuming you have an agentless banking hall. So you go in, machines are there. I mean, in retail shops in advanced countries, it's there. You go to a retail shop, there's nobody there. So you go and pick whatever you want to buy, go to the counter, scan, card, pay, take a bag, put it in, and off you go. I know what some people are thinking. In that environment, you will be caught. Yeah. So you see that there's a problem with technology determinism because you have to structure the organization to fit. You don't want to tamper with the technology. So you have to change things, people to fit with the technology. Then we have the SST approach, involving staff in choosing and what? Designing the technology. Adapting technologies to fit existing organizational culture. You are not forcing people to change. You are not going to what? Remove rules. You are not going to make people redundant. They would have things to do. And then the last one is to consider the social and organizational factors whilst implementing it. Now let's look at this as part of our interaction. How might these two theories lead to different strategies for implementing new IT systems in an organization? Remember the technology determinism, the focus is on what? Latest technology, training them. The other one, everybody is involved, they determine it. Assuming you are in charge of an organization, how will these two theories lead to different strategies for you when you want to implement new IT systems? So you are the boss in your organization. New IT system needs to be what? Brought in. And they say, since you went and did MBA and now you are back, we understand you did something called management information systems. Can you advise us what strategy we can adopt so that when we bring in a system, it will work, people will like it, and it will be successful? So this is where you will now say, okay, can we have a brief meeting so that I will take you through? You flex small. Then you tell them that when you are implementing technology, there are two main perspectives. We can just go and buy the technology off the shelf as it is and come and install. Then you tell them, but these are the problems. It means when that technology changes, you will have a problem. It means we have to take a lot of people to training. It means we are not going to consult them. So when we bring it, they will fight it. So if we are going to do that, because it is cheaper, let's find a way and appease them. So by the time the technology is coming in, we'll let them go to Accra, 2 days training, but we'll let them do 4 days. So that when they come back, they will feel, oh, the training was good. Not because they learned something, but because they took 4 nights per day. Then you also tell them the alternative. The alternative is that let's have a meeting of all staff and then ask them what challenges they are facing whilst doing their job. And then we ask them another question. If we were to bring in technology, what kind of technology do you envision? And then they will tell us. So if we bring in this technology, what do you expect you will now be doing seamlessly? Then they will tell you, oh, for me, if we are bringing in any technology, you should do ABC. Move to the this department. Everybody will tell you. Then you take it. We call that requirements what? Gathering. You gather the requirements. And then you now find that technology. It can be what? Expensive. You see? Instead of just going to buy it off the shelf, it can be what? Going through that process can be expensive. Yes. 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 Okay.
Going in for a new technology, they are also looking at the users, not as the organization, but those
who are going to use. Okay. Yes. Excellent question. Brilliant one. So as part of our discussion today, we said it's going to be in 3 parts: information systems, organization, and what? Strategy. So even this, what we are still talking about organizational context. When we come to strategy, you realize that there are some forces that if we are going to adopt technology, we have to consider those what? Forces. And customers, suppliers are all part of the forces we'll consider. So in the next few minutes, we'll come to that. Yes. And positive, yeah. To use, yes. Gaps. Yeah, yeah. The other, yes. Yes. I agree with you very well. So it means that whether we are using technology determinism or social shaping, because even with the technology determinism, if you are buying it off the shelf, this negative influential person in the organization can still sabotage the use of that system. So whichever way we are going to go, either technology determinism or social shaping, the important thing we have to consider is the context, the organizational context. What is happening in that organization? So in your case, if you feel that if it's going to be social shaping, this guy is so influential to the extent that we are not going to go anywhere. Sometimes it can be to the extent that this guy, meetings, he would drag the meetings and it will be arguments. No one will come out with the requirements. The technology, yes, there are people like that. The technology will never be implemented. In such an instance, what do? You forget about him and go and procure from outside. But you ensure that if you are bringing it, you have to make sure that everyone will go on training. In that instance, he will no longer have that influence to say people shouldn't go on training. Because people are not only going to look at the skills they are going to get, but also the motivation they are going to get. Are you getting it? Especially if you tie some of these trainings to their what? Continuous professional development. So it depends on the context. That is to say that there are 2 theories. We will not consider one as being better than what? The other. It will depend on what? What is happening in the organization. But as managers, you will have to know that you have alternatives. Depending on what is happening in the organization, then you can advise which way the organization should go. Now, one thing I want us to look at before we look at strategy is some few terminologies, what we call disruptive technologies. And we have been using the telecommunication centers, internet cafes as an example. Yes, when we were all growing up, if you wanted to write a letter to your brother somewhere, what will you do? You go and buy aerogram or notepad, write it, seal it, post it, and then wait for 2 months or so. Then came what? Email. Email revolutionized the whole process. Now, no longer email. You don't send email waiting for a reply in a day or two, and then you keep telling yourself that, oh, he hasn't checked his email. You would waste time, go to the cafe and check. These days, you rely on what? An instant messenger. So if it's delivered, you know. So you know that, oh, maybe he's still sleeping or he's at work. But the moment he views it, you are able to what? To tell. Even to the extent that these days, the issue of, oh, it has been a long time I have seen you is no longer what? There, it has become a cliche. If it's a long time you have not seen him, video call, you see him. So now it appears to us that in time past, we used to say that, oh, long time. Sometimes you will not see somebody for 5 years. And when you meet him, it feels like you were just together because you talk every day, you do video calls and many, many other things. These kinds of technologies that come to change the overall nature of things in the industry, we refer to them as disruptive technologies. So email is one. Microsoft Word and the typewriter. Typewriter is gone because with Word, you can cancel. But with typewriter, when you cancel, you have to remove the paper, throw it away. This one you can cancel and do many, many other things. So it's also one. Look at yellow and what? Taxis. So in our part, this example we are giving is context-based. In Tamale, we now have both, right? So look at resistance to change. When the yellow came, I remember when there was this influx, the taxi drivers, they had a demonstration. They said they won't agree. Now boat has come, they don't have station. They don't even have station where the boat drivers are. So how are you going to fight it? So it means those taxi drivers, for them to stay afloat, they needed to what? Also innovate and change. Get a better car, still do your taxi running, but join both. Or you sell off your taxi and buy your. Yeah. Yeah, so technologies that change, that bring sweeping changes to businesses, industries, and markets. We call them disruptive technologies. And the examples are personal computers, smartphones, and the internet. Look, 2 years, this is a 2-year program. Some of you will do this program and finish, and you won't even know where our library is. Yeah, because all the materials you want, we'll give it to you online. Because of what? The internet. Because of the internet. You can imagine what smartphone does. Yeah. In our area, there used to be one house with a phone. So if you got a call, they will come and call you, and you go there. Smartphones have come. Where are the landlines? Yeah, even in offices these days, you go and you don't find them. The same thing but when we have disruptive technologies, there are always those who are leading the industry in terms of what? The development of the technology, like Microsoft. They came out with the Windows, Word, and other things. We call them the first movers. Can you think of a first mover in Tamale? Someone who has started something new, unique, to the extent that he's the first who has done it, and people have now started going into that industry. Can you think of a local example of a first mover? Someone once gave a story that Tamale, people don't know how to start businesses. They wait. When someone starts a business, then they will go and flood that place. So when Garba Lodge was built and they started, the whole place, you will hear so and so lodge, so and so lodge. Even no one was building a hotel and naming it a hotel anymore, because Garba Lodge was the ish in town, and everybody wanted to be associated with the word lodge. Can you think of an example like that? They are the inventors of the disruptive technology. Any little technology you can think of that has become, look at Netflix. Well, this is not a local example, but look at Netflix. But I think someone has done something similar to Netflix. They are trying for Dagbani movies. So if you want to watch Dagbani movies, you pay some few, then you can have access to a lot of Dagbani movies to watch. When there's a disruptive technology, the organizations that has got that financial muscle and the resources, they usually will do what? Capitalize on that technology. Make a lot of money. And they are waiting for the new disruptive technology. When there's a new one, because they are technologically deterministic, they will leave the old one and move on to the latest technology and start capitalizing it on it again. Yes, there are some among us here, maybe, who deal in maybe commerce. They buy things and sell. But they can't tell you that this is the things I sell. As and when something becomes trendy and is moving, they jump onto it. Yes. 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 Delivery services. Are you aware that the delivery service, the kind of operations delivery services do now, the companies that provide some services, they don't deliver the services. There are delivery companies that are now doing, yes, they've taken on that particular responsibility. And they are relying on different kinds of technologies. Yes, they are relying on different kinds of. This is a business model. You remember, this is something we have taught for. I mean, we never did. People have done it. Maybe we would have been rich by now. We didn't do it. Deliveries. They buy all kinds of nice motorbikes with carriers. And yeah, and they charge. Just here, you buy food, they bring it here 15 cedis. Yes, 15 cedis. With 10 minutes, they take 15 cedis and they are gone. Yeah. Okay. So the concept of what? The first movers and the fast follower. If you don't have that financial muscle to develop, then you have to follow. But you have to be fast about it. You have to be fast about it. Because technology is what? Very dynamic. It's changing. It's changing. Okay. Now, let's use some few minutes to close up on information systems and the organization by asking this question. What is the impact of information systems on organizations? And for us to answer this question, I want to use two perspectives to guide our answering of the question on what the impact of IT is on organizations. Look at it from two angles. Economic impact. There's an economic impact to it, and that's the first one we are going to look at. And we say IT changes the relative cost of capital and the cost of information. Can someone explain this? Information technology changes the relative cost of capital and the cost of information. Anybody here who sells stuff on WhatsApp? Yes. And any other? Who? Yeah, you put it on your status, right? Yeah? You put it on your status. Do you mind sharing with us what you sell? Food. Eh? Food. Okay. Okay. So this is an advert too. There. Fugu. She's selling baobab something. Yes. Do you have a website? Good. You don't also have, she doesn't also have a website. Look, so assuming the cost of a website, maybe 2,500, 3,000. You have to get a camera to take nice pictures of your products to put it on. Yes, expensive. But you are not doing that. You are just posting your products on your WhatsApp status. And probably your WhatsApp contacts may be 2,000, 3,000. So on the average, when you post it, you get like 500 to 1,000 people looking at it. And they may also post it on their status, and it goes on and on and on. The crowd effect. When you do that, you are participating in the digital marketplace, right? If you also have a website, you would participate in the digital marketplace. But the cost of putting the website together and putting everything on the website in order, the cost of that, and the cost of you just putting it on your status, that one is cheaper, right? You are leveraging on information technology, though the two examples both involve IT, but you are leveraging on IT to participate in the buying and selling aspect. Are you getting it? Yes. So it means the cost, a lot of things in terms of cost of labor is reduced, right? Access to some markets are also made what? Easier. And usually we say that the transaction cost of participating in a market, the cost of participation in a market is called the transaction cost. It's also what? Cheaper. That's why we're saying that IT reduces the relative, it changes the cost of what? The maintenance too. Yes. Yes, through radio. Mm. Yes. They will not be able to hear. Yes. Yes. Cost of capital. Yeah. Cost of capital. When we started these programs last year, we didn't do a single advert. When I say we didn't do a single paid advert. All our adverts were on social media. We created a Facebook page, we put it there, Twitter page, we put it there, LinkedIn, then our status. Yeah, okay. Many people have seen messages on our status because that one has the what? The crowd effect. If all of you should post our flyer, yeah, you are over 100. All of you post our flyer, and even one person on your status sees it. You can imagine the effect. Farmers, yes, yes. Yeah, they don't take it to the market, the cattle to the market anymore. They just put it on their status. Yes, and then they advertise. Yes. Mm.
When they want to adopt new technology,
Yep.
what they do is that first of all, they try to pilot it at a particular location so that they see the outcome of it. If there are some challenges or some possibilities that they want, they now then look at it.
Before they roll it out, yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's reduced. Yes. Piloted there. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, they now roll it out to the general population. So apart from the cost implications, technology too makes it easy for us to supervise. Assuming we have an organization with several branches, IT can help you to easily supervise. Apart from that, even within the organization, supervision can be drastically reduced by relying on what? IT. And you remember we indicated the case of bringing all heads or ministers one platform. So it means if the president is technologically literate, he can also be asking questions, what's happening here? What's happening here on that platform? So we also say that in terms of the impact of IT, we can use the agency theory to explain it by saying that, you know what agency theory says? Agency theory basically says that there are two people in some kind of a relationship, one called the principal and the other called what? The agent. And the agent does things on behalf of what? The principal. So it means the principal can supervise some of the things the agent does. So in an organization with several branches, you can rely on IT to remove what? Or reduce the cost of supervision or agency costs. You can use it to reduce agency costs. We're also saying that in organizational context, information technology can flatten the organizational structure. So instead of this traditional organizational structure, when IT is introduced into organizational structure, some of these routines, bureaucracy can be collapsed. If you have to write a memo, it will go there, come here before it goes there. With IT, you can be here and send an email, and the guy here. So it reduces a lot of changes in the organization in terms of flattening the organizational structure. But it will not all be rosy when you introduce IT in an organization. People will what? They will resist it. So let's look at this diagram as well. People will resist it. The resistance to change can come from several perspectives. The people, if it was technologically deterministic, the people may not like it, so they will resist it. The organizational structure, also if it was technologically deterministic and you bring it may not fit the organizational structure because the technology may be assuming that some rules don't exist. And you can also sack them, so they will resist it. You get a picture I'm painting. If the technology is saying that there shouldn't be a deputy CEO, the IT system, there's no role for deputy CEO. So if you are going to implement it, the deputy CEO will do nothing. The cola he used to get, the kickbacks, he won't get it again. So he will lead people to resist it. The business processes in the organization, very critical. If it doesn't fit the technology, they will resist it. Even just by the nature of that technology itself. People may resist it. Can someone give an example? Just by the nature of the technology, they are saying no, they won't use it. For instance, if the technology is assumed, people assume that the technology is taking sensitive data from them, they will resist it. They will say that, assuming you are using your phone and they say that your phone is secretly taking pictures of you, you'll be scared of your what? Your own mobile phone. Yes. Organizational resistance to change. Now, we are moving on to the last part. It won't take us very long. The last part, where we consider strategy. Where we consider strategy. And to introduce that, I want us to look at this scenario. When you use technology, or when you want to use technology, your use of the technology should not be just by chance. Your adoption of the technology should not be just by chance. I like it. You have to make sure your strategy influences it. So you are doing business or you are leading an organization. You must always ask yourself, before technologically imposing a technology or system in the organization, find out what the mission and vision of the organization is. What is your organization's strategy? Is there a strategic alignment in terms of bringing the technology in or not? If it is just because you want to make money, bringing in the technology may derail a lot of things within the organization. That is why we are saying that you must consider some critical factors. So Michael Porter, who is a marketer, a marketing guru, he came up with some number of factors, which we refer to as the 5 forces model. So with these 5 forces, Michael Porter says that depending on how an organization responds to the 5 forces, then the organization will have a strategy. So we are looking at 2 things, 5 forces and then strategy. What will influence your strategy will be how you react to what? The forces. So we'll look at what we call Porter's competitive forces model. And this is how it looks like. This is how Porter's competitive forces model looks like. The 5 forces are new market entrants, suppliers, customers, substitute products, and then competitors. We are assuming that we are the firm. All other factors are what? All other items indicated here are the forces or the factors. How the firm responds to the competitor, substitute products, customers, suppliers, and new markets by relying on IT, will determine which strategy the firm will take. Let's explain, yes. Excellent. It's a question I was going to ask. He has jumped the gun. Why is it that new market entrants, suppliers, customers, and substitute products, they are outside the oval, and the firm and competitors are inside? Meanwhile, we are talking about only the firm. Yes.
You're looking at the new entrants.
Yes. So excellent. So this is the environment. This guy is already in there. The competitor is already there with the firm. But our discussion or explanation is centered around this guy. But because he's already there and there is that relationship, this firm affects the competitor also affects the firm. But all these others are a bit more external. Now, let's look at, before we come to this, let's look at how new market entrants can be a market force. So you are competitive, you are the firm doing business in a particular area, providing a service. How can new market entrants threaten your business? Yes. Okay. Blue.
MTN, the way they use them,
Yes.
find their SIMs.
So this thing, it has, I have heard it in almost all my lectures for the last few years. MTN, did you guys really push out Blue? He's with MTN, so keep quiet and listen. Did you actually push them out? Because there are allegations that MTN even bought and went and pushed it in the sea. Quiet, please. The SIM cards. Okay. Okay. Before going live. No, go live. Prepared. Wow. Yes, so customers were disappointed. So MTN did not deliberately buy their SIM cards and put it in the sea. They say you are being defensive. Yes. Quiet. The Glow. Okay. The coverage was, it wasn't wide. Oh, yes, okay. They couldn't meet the expectations. Yes. Yeah. They failed. Listen to what I said. So okay, so look at it from this angle. Look, so for new market entrants, they are always a force to reckon with, especially when the barriers to entry are low. There are a lot of businesses in town or businesses that are non-existent. If you start them, you can't stop people from also coming, doing it. Before you realize, they will saturate the place, and new market entrants can, yes, they can destroy the firm, especially where the barriers to entry are relaxed, low. So the question we are asking is, in discussing each of these factors or forces in a lame way or low way that we are doing, you have to ask yourself, what is the role of technology in ensuring that an organization or firm can deal with this force? So in terms of new market entrants, how can the firm rely on technology such that when the new entrants come, no matter their force, our technological advancement will be able to withstand whatever they are going to do. So we are fine. In explaining it, always think about what? The technological component. Suppliers. Who are suppliers? Vendors, right? Maybe they are providing raw materials to us. They give us a lot of credit and many, many other things. How can they affect, how can their behavior, operations affect the firm? Yes. Supplier.
There's tendency that you might disappoint your customer.
Okay.
Because as your customer is demanding whatever product you are taking, at some point you don't care. Because you are not willing to buy.
Yes.
I mean, you are ready to buy for them because the supplier is failing.
Okay. So you need a reliable supplier, right? How can you rely on IT? How can you leverage on IT to ensure that you have a reliable supplier? You see what I'm doing? Yes, explain it wonderfully, but the technology component. How do I rely on technology to ensure that supplies from my suppliers are reliable?
Nowadays, suppliers who have their information online.
Okay.
So you are able to go to their profile, even know most of it.
Oh.
That can even inform you as whether you can contribute suppliers or which software.
Yes. How can you rely on information systems or technology to manage the relationship between you and your supplier very well? Suppliers, let's assume that our suppliers always give us raw materials, office supplies, and many other things. But mostly, when we run out of supplies, it's difficult to contact them. In some organizations like that, the moment your suppliers, you can't get them. Before they bring in another supplies, work will stall. And when work stalls, the products may finish. Customers will be stranded. And sometimes some of the customers may not come back again to buy from us. So how do we ensure that there is always that seamless supply of what? Materials to us by using IT. Okay, yes, 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 yes. Yeah, so you can have a platform with your supplier. Such that anytime your stock level reaches some level, it will be easier for you to what? To get your stock replenished. Sometimes when we are giving these examples, don't think about complex systems. It can just be by email. But when you go there, the way they will receive you, they will take you through, oh, this product is like this. In some shops, you go there and they say, this one is 5,500. So if you want, you can buy. This one is. But they will tell you, okay, this one is here. Next week, we are going to get this. We are going to get it. We are doing this promotion. We are doing this. So you end up not buying. They are not angry because they know you may come back. But in some shops, they don't even. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and order. You can order online. Yes. They all leverage on these things. All right. Then substitute products. So whatever you are offering to your customers, your competitors are also doing what? They may also do same. So how do you rely on technology to ensure that the forces or the pressure from the substitute products don't destroy your own products? How do you rely on technology to do that? How do you rely on technology to ensure that substitute products don't become a problem for you? Yes. The features of your trademark. Yes. Protect it. Otherwise, people will do counterfeit copies of your products and destroy your market. So we are saying that depending on what happens here, an organization will now take a strategy. So let's look at the strategies. These are the strategies. So hear me out. How many forces? 5. Depending on how you react or deal with the force, then you can take a strategy. So if it's substitute products, you can decide that maybe the substitute products, they are matching me in terms of quality. So I can decide that, look, I'm going to China to get cheaper products and come and deliver it at a low cost for people to what? They will buy. The cost of excellent. You could also just rebrand. Or you can maybe, because the competitor is so strong, they are trying to force you out of a particular market. And you saw it coming, or you see it coming. So you decide to abandon that market before they force you out. And you go and concentrate in a smaller market and do well there. You can also do that as a strategy because of what? The market dynamics. Yes, you can also add other services. But all of what we are talking about, if we combine them, we have what we call 4 generic strategies for dealing with what? The competitive forces by using IT. The first one is low cost leadership. So you find a way to leverage on technology so that your productivity, your cost of operations can become lower so that you offer cheaper products. Or product differentiation. You go and hire somebody to make sure, look, the telcos, they keep coming up with different kinds of bundles. That's what they are doing to outcompete each other. Different kinds of bundles. Yes. So product differentiation is very important. Or abandon some market areas and concentrate on a smaller market segment. And then the last one, how you deal with the customer and how you deal with the supplier. This will determine whether the customer should come back or not. Based on this, we always say that our biggest strategy as a school is to strengthen this one, student-centeredness. That's what we are interested in. That's what we are interested in. So when it comes to low cost, our fees are not too high and not too low. Product differentiation, we are here too. Go to University of Ghana, their MBA is what? 1 year, about 47,000 for 2 years. Your 1 year fee, your 2 year fee is their 1 year fee. Yes. They are in Accra. All right. Product differentiation. I have a colleague here who always tells me, and we are both products from the University of Ghana Business School. He always say that, the Aswolegon is the name of, because if you look at, if you have time, just go to UGBS website and download the brochure for their MBA program. Compare the courses we are doing and the courses they are doing. They have been doing those courses since we were there. Yes, they have not innovated. I don't know why in this changing time, they have not innovated. Those courses, they are still teaching those courses. Yes. So for us, product differentiation, there is no MBA program in Ghana where they will do coursework and do a boot camp. You should have come to see our boot camp. Vero, you were there, right? Yes, we did it at the guest house. So apart from the taught courses, we say that, look, there are renowned business leaders out there who have started businesses and done very well. If you are doing an MBA, you should have that business mind and business acumen. So we'll bring the business leaders. They should come and tell us how they did it. Apart from that, we'll have a session for our students. Then we'll give them an outline to come together and develop a business proposal. So if you go through this process, you can do a business plan proposal and pitch it for funding. We started it last year. We didn't have money to fund the best group, but we are planning that when we stabilize and get money, either within or outside, at least the best MBA group that pitches the best business idea, we should be able to give them some money so that they can start something on the side. That's how Facebook and all those things started and became big. And we never know. Those businesses can grow and come back, and when we retire, they may give us post-retirement what? Contracts. So product differentiation, completely unique. No MBA program does that in Ghana, none. Market niche. We don't have campuses anywhere. We say Tamale. When we first advertised, we said Wa Bolga. But we said, no, let's not start that way. Let's have a center here. But if you are in Accra, you can what? Join online. Yes, there's somebody currently in Dubai. Yes, you guys know. Yes, and he's joining. Yes, last year somebody in the US wanted to join us, but it was too late. Because of what? Market niche. So it's not about distance. It's about what? Making the product available. Yes, I think we have gone through all of this. So we are saying that how you respond to it. And we responded to the market forces in a very unique way. Competitors. How do you respond to your competitors? When we started, they said, no, this we don't get numbers. But we said it is not about what? The numbers. So our competitors were looking and asking, how many people have you got? How many people? So even when we did our first orientation in this room, the first orientation, there were about 90. But later on, some joined. So they were, in the end, they were about 107. But when the day we did the orientation, people took pictures here and shared it, and they were mocking us that they didn't get people. Yes, but we knew that it's not about, it's about how you deliver it. And those who are part of the program, they would tell people that, look, Pastor, what we are going through there, even to the extent that last year, some students asked us that, Prof, are you guys making money? Because the way you are feeding us, and we said, yeah, we are. Yes. I know you also asked it, right? Yes, but we have carefully considered all these things. Because if we don't do that, and there's break, and you say you have been working Monday to Friday, there's break, you now say you want to go to Fatal Bicycle. The problem, yes. So interestingly, in all our advertisements, we don't mention lunch. No, we don't do that. Yes. So even when we're doing our information session, one of our lecturers made a mistake. And when we ended, he mentioned lunch and we were not happy. We said, no, don't say that. Don't tell them. Food is not something these people worry about. These people don't care about food. So if you mention it, they will think that we are looking down on them. So when we're advertising, but our competitors who provide it, they have done even a video advert, right? And they have indicated that when you come, they will give you lunch. So when we see it, we keep laughing. You say, you bring a professional and you are telling him that lunch. It doesn't entice people like, but how the program is what? Delivered. How the individual is what? Is treated. Then they will not think that, then these people, they are really serious. Customer and supplier intimacy. When you complain, there on the platform, you can say anything you see going on wrong. You can say it because we want to what? Make it better. So culture. Culture also comes into this. Last one. What's the time? 8:32. So last slide. Last slide. I want us to look at this diagram. The value chain model. I said it was the last. All right, I'll be fast about this. Value chain. Now, in the first or second lecture, we indicated that if you look at the input-output continuum, if you look at information system, we were saying that an information system does what? It has several components that will capture, transform, store, and later make something out and for decision what? Making. So we said that there is what we call an information chain, because what is taken as raw data, value is added to it and it becomes what? Information. The same way, when organizations are offering products for sale, the products will start from somewhere, and at every step, value is added until it becomes finished product. So that process, we refer to it as what? The value chain. The value chain has two main components. We have what we call support activities and what? Primary activities. The primary activities are the core, the base of the value chain. The support activities are also very critical because without them, that value will not be what? Will not be added. So for instance, in the typical production process, maybe to produce this pointer, the raw materials that are needed, the raw materials that are transformed, the color and everything transformed into this shape and form. Value is added to the raw material. That's why we are seeing it this way. But we're also saying that those guys who are sitting in the offices, administration, HR, payroll, they also play a critical role in getting this product done. So they are also important, the support activities. So throughout that process, whether support or primary activity, how can we rely on IT to ensure that the process is what? Improved, so that more value is what? Added. For instance, let's start with primary activity, inbound logistics. When you are buying the raw materials, you rely on an automated system so that when raw materials get to a level, they know and they send it. Are you getting it? So automated warehousing system. When you are going to produce the product, you can rely on automated or computerized machining systems to help you move things faster. When everything is done and you are now going to offer the product for sale, people should be able to buy online, right? So computerized ordering systems are also important. Sometimes people may buy items from your shop and they may need to come back for what? After sale services. They need to be able to contact you using an online system. When you do that, you are also adding value. And then the last one, when people buy things and you are shipping to them, you can give them tracking numbers. You can give them messages. Your product is at this point. All these automated processes add value to what? The product and the service you are going to get. Similarly, administrative or support activities, we can rely on information systems to improve the process. Sometimes you may just buy a product, maybe say 200 cedis. That's the price tag. But after paying for the product, the customer service you received, you go out with a product and you think, this is valued more than 200. Don't you feel that sometimes? Yeah. You take the product and you feel, it's more expensive than 200 cedis. When we were growing up, I used to do that to my colleagues. When I go and buy my bend down boutique and I put it on, the moment you comment and say, Charlie, I said, it's nice. And I'll say, yes, I'll say that's 250. Yeah, Brandon, because where I got it from and the way I was treated, I think that the value the guy has added to the product is more than what Actually, so value has been added. The value chain process involves different activities. IT can be used to improve that process. Assuming this is the value chain for MTN, right? Don't you think Glo, their value chain would maybe a bit different? UDS, our value chain will be what? A bit different. But we can partner with MTN and maybe another organization to come up with a unique product for our students, right? In that case, if we are going to do that, we will be combining different what? Value chains. Because we have our value chain as UDS, educational institution. They also have their value chain as a telecommunication entity and maybe another organization. Now, if we are going to come together, sign a pact to deliver maybe a broadband service that is what? Convenient, that is cheap, that is faster for students. That means we are going to be combining our different value chains. So we are saying that organizations can combine different strategies, their core competencies, and come together to provide a unique product through a consortium. We call that the value web. Instead of just one value chain, several value chains can come together. This also builds on a point that you know already. Have you heard of the term 1 + 1 is equal to 3? Yes, synergy. So when they come together with different core competencies, different value chains to create this value web, they are also creating what? A synergistic relationship to be able to deliver very well. Okay. I think it's left with one slide. All right, this brings us to the end of our session. Thank you very much. Industry value chain. So assuming this is MTN, right? Quiet. This is MTN. Assuming Glo is also there, they will have a similar value chain because they are in the same industry. Vodafone is also there, same industry. So we can have, if we bring all that together, the same, similar industries, similar firms in the same industry, then we will have what we call the industry value chain.